What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. But of course, stay here. So, this video's topic, because I don't know if you noticed, I've been on a little bit of a roll. Granted, the videos I put up have been fairly shorter than usual, but this one's going to be a normal length video. So, this video's topic is 10 millimeter or 10 millimeter auto. Is it good for self-defense? I'm going to run it through all four situations. I'm going to give you all my opinion on each, then give my overview. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, first off, let me clarify and say I do not own any firearms in 10 millimeter, or at least currently I don't. It isn't my next caliber I plan on getting. However, I am definitely planning on getting one. So let's start with home defense. Let's take your typical full size 10 millimeter. We'll just go with your standard like Glock 20, right? You got 15 rounds of 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is a pretty powerful round. 15 rounds is a solid capacity for that situation. You know, most 10 millimeter guns, you're able to put a light on. So let's see here. I'm leaning pretty towards it. It's not looking bad as far as I'm thinking this very second. I'm trying to think of some cons for it. Hell, fuck it. Let's run it through the simulator. God damn it. This isn't Deadliest Warrior. So let's go ahead and sit here and think about this. Let's say you got your full size 10 mil, right? You got your light on it, turn the corner. The power is enough that it's definitely a man stopper for sure. If it can stop a bear, it can stop a man. I will say the one con I can think of that it definitely is a con, but it's probably not going to be the biggest deal realistically. Is over penetration. That is a higher possibility with 10 millimeter than 40, 45, 9 mil, and that, of course, because it is a higher pressured round, does pack more of a punch to it. So let's clarify that. That is probably the only con I'm thinking of. The recoil on 10 millimeter is not terrible at all. Just because I haven't owned it doesn't mean I haven't shot 10 mil before. I have shot 10 mil. It is not bad at all as far as recoil goes. However, I get, some people are a bit more recoil sensitive. I can see them not wanting to go to 10 mil first. I can see that. However, as far as capacity, effectiveness, capabilities of doing what you need it to do as far as a home defense situation goes, the only con I really see is the possibility of over penetration. If you realistically feel like you shouldn't you can't handle the recoil of 10 millimeter, you probably shouldn't buy a 10 millimeter gun. Now, if you went out and just bought a 10 millimeter gun without doing any research, you probably played yourself a good bit, but I'm sure you can, don't sell it back to a store. Don't sell it to any store. Find a, private buyer, and go ahead and, get some money back at least for what you got. If not, get all of it back. If you can make a profit, that's cool too, but as far as home defense, I'd say it's pretty solid. The only con I can think of, as I was saying before, was simply just, there's a higher possibility of over penetration, because there is a possibility of over penetration with almost any almost any round. I can think of a good few exceptions, of course, but a lot of rounds there, there's always a possibility of penetration, just not a high one. 10 millimeter will have a higher one than your average like 9 mil, 40, 45, especially calibers like 380 or 5.7. But other than that, I think it would do a solid job for home defense. That's for sure. I just thought of something funny real quick before I go into the concealed carry. I don't know, I'm sure some of y'all out there got to listen to rap. There was always a trend with rappers about the calibers they would have. They'd be like, Oh, I got that 30 in at 40. Oh, I got that 40 on me. Oh yeah, I keep that 9 on me. I keep that Nina. You know, oh, I got the big 4.5. There's always trends as far as calibers go. When it comes to rappers, you never hear them say, "Oh yeah, I got that big 10 mil on me." I don't think I've ever heard that. I'll be honest. So that's just something I thought of. But regardless, let's go on to concealed carry. Uh, I do believe that it could be okay in a concealed carry situation. Uh, Now, here's what I will say is that concealed carry situations are obviously very different from a home defense situation in the sense that you don't know when they're going to happen. You don't know when a home defense situation is going to happen, but you do know the layout of your home a lot better than, whoever is trying to harm you probably does. So that does give you that little bit of, time for an edge to, because you know about your crib. So let's get that out of the way. For concealed carry, it can be good. However, in some concealed carry situations, you have to, just close, bam, 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 start shooting, right here or some shit. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't think 10 mil would be the best for that. Uh, just in, just because of the fact that, yes, as I said before, the recoil isn't bad. However, if you're not training, I don't think it's going to be the best. I mean, especially for start, for like beginners. However, if you do train, or you specifically only carry 10 mil, you train with it, you do whatever, you're 100% used to it. By all means, do you. I don't think it'd be bad in that situation either. Most 10 millimeter guns have a pretty solid capacity. If we're going to go with, concealed carry, let's take the Glock 29, I believe is a 10 mil. I believe it's 10 rounds at 10 mil. I would be okay with that. I definitely would. It definitely, as I said before, it's a higher pressured round. The capacity wouldn't be too bad for concealed carry, although I probably would want a bigger gun. That's just me. However, let's get back to what I was getting to. Trying to think here. I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna, stop what you needed to. Overall, let's say you're in a situation where, it's a mass shooter thing. Mm, I'm trying to think, because there's not really too many cons to 10 millimeter. You know what I mean? Because I don't want y'all thinking, oh, yeah, well, he's trying to hate on 10 millimeter. No, I'm just trying to make this a fair fight because 10 millimeter is a pretty solid caliber. So as far as concealed carry goes, capacity is okay as long as actually know how to handle 10 millimeter properly. You should be fine. As I mentioned before with the home defense situation, I don't think you're going to get a 10 millimeter if you don't know how to properly handle 10 millimeter recoil. So overall, yeah, I could say it's pretty good. You know what I mean? And y'all can tell I haven't sat there and really thought this video out. Some of the other videos, yeah, I think out a bit more. But this one, I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just show y'all the actual live process of me thinking these things through, just to so I'd say it's all right. I would fear, over penetration a bit more. And the main reason why is because chances are, if you're in a situation where you do have to defend yourself outside of your home in a concealed carry situation, there's a good chance of there being other people around. If that over penetration happens, there's a good chance of you hitting them, which that definitely isn't fun. So there is that. For that alone, that is you know, some people are, they're willing to take that risk. That's fine. Other people live in different environments, but I'm going to go ahead and get into that later. Not different environment. Y'all know, I'll get into what I mean. All right. However, yeah, I could see it being okay. That would just be my main fear. It was, similar thing with, home defense. Now, SHTF, I think it is okay. Now, this one I actually did think through a little bit beforehand, and here's why. 10 millimeter is a great round for hunting, which I'm going to be going into in the next situation. It is good for, situations where you have to take down animals. So that would be helpful in a SHTF situation. Very helpful. However, my biggest issue is mainly that 10 millimeter isn't as, not commonly, but as mass produced as 9 millimeter, 22, 308, 556, 762 by 39 calibers like that. 10 millimeter is not one of the most popular calibers in the world, which is fine. It's a cool caliber. Excuse me. But as I was saying, SHTF, I think it would be okay for that. However, if you run out of ammo, unless you got like a great amount put away and you've been preparing for this, I don't know what to tell you, man. It might be a bit harder for you to find it. That is just the truth. It's already going to be harder for you to find ammo realistically in an SHTF situation. However, finding, ammo for a caliber that isn't too commonly, not too commonly, but isn't the most commonly used, probably isn't going to help you there. So I will say that for sure. As far as I guess we'll go with the animal defense situation is what I'm going to call it. I don't know. I've been, I've been going back and forth on the names, as y'all can tell. So in a defense, a situation, where you defend yourself against animals, 10 millimeter is pretty solid. People do use it to defend themselves against bears. And I mean, hell, I hate to break it to y'all. A bear is not a small fucking animal. You know what I mean? Now, granted, sometimes I've seen them have to take multiple shots. However, a 10 mil, it does the job. It has a good amount of penetration, pressure, punch to it. It does the job at defending yourself against pretty big animals. So I'm not gonna lie to you, if you have to defend yourself against a smaller animal like, wolf, coyote, hyena, whatever, big, a bigger dog even, I I doubt that, it won't be able to do the job. So that is definitely a Jesus, that is definitely a plus there. I'm trying to see here. If there's really any negatives to the 10 millimeter round in a situation where you're defending against an animal. Um, I mean, I guess this isn't about defending yourself against, from an animal, but however, all right, let's say you're like hunting for smaller animals. Obviously, you don't want to use a, 10 millimeter. Like, you don't want to use 10 mil to hunt a rabbit or a squirrel or a bird or something. So that's something to think about. I feel like that's obvious. So, so let me see here. For home defense, seems pretty solid. I would definitely recommend. Concealed carry, it seems a bit less solid, but still decently solid. So if you'd like to, go ahead. I'm not going to hate on you for it. Uh, SHTF, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. If they, just start running up production of 10 mil, things might change. They might change to be like, yeah, that might be the SHTF caliber to go to. You never know. As far as defense against the animal, it'll do the job. It'll definitely protect you, especially from some solidly big animals that will usually rip you to shreds. So I think we can give that one, a good old thumbs up there. So overall, 10 millimeter, is it good for self defense? Yes. Uh, we haven't had a single situation where it was a no. The lowest we've gotten was a, it's okay, or it's I. It's same thing. You know what I mean? But overall, yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good caliber to defend yourself with. I would say that if you're in a situation where you're less likely to run into larger animals, things like that, because as I was saying before, there are people who live in different, I guess, environments than, I do. For example, I'm in Florida, I'm in a hot, swampy environment. Let's say my chances of, running up on, honestly, shit, Florida does have a good amount of wildlife, but that's neither here nor there. Let's say my chances of, running up on some huge fucking bear is, I live in a city. I don't live in the woods, really. Granted, Pasco County has a lot of wooded areas. It's not really the woods like that. So I don't have to worry about, say, seeing a huge bear that's trying to kill me more than somebody who would live maybe out in Alaska or, somewhere where bears are more common. Actually, now that I think about it, are bears common in Alaska? They should, I think they are. They probably are. I don't know. I've had a very long day, y'all. Been, I'm not gonna go into it. So 10 mil, pretty solid. All right. Something I'm sure y'all been waiting to hear. I've been waiting to say it. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. Go ahead and check out. Just because. All right. Just because y'all think 10 mil, yeah, it's a pretty solid caliber. You know what I mean? Might not be the best for everybody, sure, but pretty solid. All right. Go and check out the podcast channel, Adam's channel, Certified Podcast Gun.tv. Y'all know what the deal is. Of course, I'm going to sit there, tag both the channels in the description below, just like I always do. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one. Peace.